Good afternoon. This is the Torah from Parashat Haazinu. It's the next to the last parsha in the Torah, and it is the song that Hashem commanded Moshe to say to the people. It covers a good chunk of our history and what's going to happen, how Hashem will ultimately redeem us. It again is the third of the four parshas occurring on the day of Moshe's death. At the end, he's commanded to go up to the top of the mountain, and from there he will see Eretz Yisrael, but he won't enter it. What that means, seeing exactly, I will be discussing in next week's Devar Torah. In any event, I would like to focus on the first verse of the Parsha. Azinin Hashemayim and Nidaber Tishma Aretz Amri Pi. Give, ear, O heavens, and I will speak, which can mean incline one's ear. It's another translation. And may the earth hear the words of my mouth. Now, the word Medaber is a stronger language, and Imri, hear my words, is a softer language. Now, on the surface, and this is one interpretation, it sounds like the two witnesses, if the only ones around long enough, one's going to be Shemayim, heaven, the other's going to be Aretz. And since we're distant from, Moshe was distant from the heavens, we're going to say that it's distance from heavens. That's why the ear of heavens have to incline their ear like this. But I'm going to show that there are many other explanations of this, some of which I'm going to share. One explanation that is given is that of the Orach Chaim. In fact, he gives a number of them we're going to be using and explaining. Some of them are going to be literal. Some are not going to be literal. Now, as he points out, one explanation is a Sifri, the Halach Trashim. There's one explanation that says give ear is talking about that something near. In term ear, here is when you setting speak further away. So obviously Moshe was closer to heavens than the earth. According to words, they're saying that Moshe, in the spiritual sense, was close to the heaven. Therefore, he gives the explanation that doesn't mean incline your ear. Doesn't incline your ear. It means to hear, to listen. When he speaks, because it's clear, that's one explanation. Now, the other explanation, as I said, means it inclines. Now, the Orach Chaim is going to say, he's going to go with the explanation that incline your ear means, as I illustrated, means a physical movement. And Moshe is closer to earth in the physical sense. And therefore, he has to Give your ear means incline your ear. Is an explanation of the oracline. And since it has both meanings, it can be understood both ways. So he would explain oracline. That although the earth, that Moshe is spiritually closer to heaven, he's still physically he's closer to earth, therefore the heavens do have to incline. And the other meaning of it is so he has to mention the words. But when he says utterances, which is the second, since he's close to earth, he can say it softer because he doesn't have to be as loud. Again, there's a certain amount of symbolism in all of this. So, in other words, the heavens don't have to be called loudly because he's closer to the earth. He has to be called loudly because he's farther away. To the earth, he's close. There's another reason for this, because now, another explanation, you can also even understand the way that the Sifrei understands it, because you can split, the Rorkheim says you can split the difference. What is the ways that you can split the difference here, so to speak? Is that Moshe is spiritually closer. The spiritual part of him, his soul, was this addressing the heavens and was closer in that sense. But we're also looking at the physical part. So in one sense, his body was closer to earth, and his neshama was closer to heaven. So both explanations are reasonable. Now that's given the literal explanation. That's given the literal meanings. Now I'd like to give some other indications here that we're not talking about the heavens and the earth as such. We're talking about the Jewish people, and there's different aspects of the Jewish people. As Yerushalayim explains, there's two components. Spiritual element is referred to as the heavens, and the physical element is referred to earth. And when he's addressing the spiritual part, which Haazinu Shemayim, it's talking the heavenly parts of each person. Give ear, since incline ear, since these heavenly parts are concealed in a distance from the speaker. When he says give the ears, he used the midbar with regard to the soul, because neshama, the soul, can handle harder stuff, more challenging stuff. And the earth, the people can hear it. They have to have utterance. It has to be using imri. It's indicating gentler speech. Another way of looking at it, there's two categories of people. There's the great men, the tzaddikim, the leaders, and those masses of people, and the masses of people. Now, the masses of people. So what's he saying? He's first addressing with the command, give hero evidence. That's talking to leaders. They must follow what Moshe is saying. And the Aretz is like the earth. since it's below them, just like the heaven, the earth is below the heavens. And as it explained in the Zohar, if the leader of people perfects himself, the people will be perfected. So that's one level. Now another approach, and when it's saying give ear, Haazinu, if you give ear, you'll be considered like the heavens, meaning we have an angelic status, like we can rise higher than the angels. This is something that's important this time of year. If we do true tshuva, we can rise higher. And in other words, you must give to all the Torah, both the positive and the negative commandments. And it speaks of reproof of sin. You got to handle all that. When he talks about the earth, is the earth the element? We're talking about after the soul leaves the body. Without going into the full explanation, it's explaining that what the earth will hear, we're talking about the Kiyat Tametim, when the dead will arise. In other words, all those that have followed Hashem's Torah in this world will arise and come out of the graves, come back to life. And those who didn't won't. Now, this has to be understood. The Or Chaim goes a bit further than that, because there's the Leshem, or Shlomo explained. Every Jew has a place in Olam Haba. In some cases, it's going to be easier. And for those who committed sins, they're going to have to go through certain cleansing processes. But at the end, they will have a place in Shemayim, in the next world. And they will also be, they will also come back to life. It will be a more difficult process. Again, this is explained by the Leshem Rav Shlomo Eliashiv. And therefore, presumably, once they've done tshuva with us in this world and the next world, they will hear Torah. This is a point, again, that I will probably speak about another time to give a more detailed commentary on it. And that's some explanations already. Now, I'd like to go to Lakutei Torah, who explains. Now, what are we talking about here? Originally, when Adam and Chava, before they committed the hate, were pure, and it was only when the sin of Adam and Chava, eating of the fruit, you get two types of people: those that were positive, those that had committed were pure, and those that had committed sin. And it explains that we all have to go through that process, where everybody eventually dies. They'll come back out. In the case of great people, the body won't be affected by burial. And that's what it means that most and multa will all surely have to go. But those who listen to Hashem, so what we're talking about, Adam, we're taking two aspects here. One, when it says the earth here, this means the people, and they obviously have to die, because to get rid of the poison of the Yetzer Hara. It started with Adam and Chava, and sin with Yetzer Das, Tov, and Ra. And at the end, there'll be the resurrection, the Kiyas Mesim at the time of Mashiach. And if you, he makes a drush in the word Adam, Now, he says, Adam, Vayadei Tikun will come, David and Meister Mashiach, Yeh Kol HaMesim, and then all the dead will rise, and that's why in reference to Shemayim. And we will then we finally rejoice, and we first live to a certain age, and then afterwards we have to undergo the procedure I've already discussed, and when we come up and talking about the heavens, we will again be pure. And this also alludes to the heavens and the earth. This is also an allusion to to the creation of the world, which should have been perfected initially. I'll speak more about this in Parshas Bereshit, but ultimately had to go through a long process because of the hate of Adam and Chava. Another meaning is that this is talking, and the final one that I'm going to go, there are many others, that's brought by one of the Talmidim of the Rambam, known as the Evan Yoshia Yeshiv, and he explains that when he's quoting it, he's talking about the Torah Shebal Peh, the written, the spoken Torah, and the Torah Kitav, the written Torah. In other words, is commonly called the written and oral Torah, English. And why is Shemayim? So when it's saying is testifying, what's going to testify to all this is both the written Torah, which has to be taken from Shemayim and was given to us on earth, and the Torah Shebal Peh that we have, which is our job to raise up, to speak, to hear. Now, I'd like to say, as we're coming to the end of what's been a very intense and momentous year, that every year we're given a new opportunity, and if we can follow the different ideas here, and we can truly be willing to, first of all, count our good points, the tzaddik side, spiritual side, and we all have those, and also decide to work on the points that need improvement. May we fulfill, now that the fast track has been carried out for thousands of years, where we've, even when after Eretz Yisrael we've been in exile, may we see the dawning of the next thing, what is referred to as refuah in Likutei Torah, which is David HaMelech Mashiach and the Kiyas Metim, and is also explained in the Yerushalayim that I brought. And may we all be Shana Tova B'Masim Tov. May we all be inscribed for a very positive year, and may that promise that's raised by the Likutei Torah, may we merit the Kates, the end of the days, and Mashiach and the Kiyas Mesim this coming year.